Hey yo, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. It's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap. It is a trap, it is a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap. So. The price of Bitcoin is back above $90,000. Are we back, or is it a trap? I believe it's a trap. Do you believe it's a trap? Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have a cryptocurrency market to analyze today, and what a day! We have the FOMC meeting. We have the OFC meeting in the next few hours. Not just the cryptocurrency market, the equity market is kind of, not looking too good today. At least depending on what you're looking at. But if you look at the performance of, what is I'm looking for the SPY. If you look at the SPY, guys, we are currently down. The NASDAQ, strangely is up about $60. Apple is down. Microsoft is down. VOO is down. VTI is down. Nvidia is up. Netflix, of course, has been pulling back the last couple months. Google has been pulling back. Amazon, no, Amazon has been pulling back. I think Amazon has been running. But anyways, yeah, look, we have the FOMC meeting in the next couple hours. So of course we are going to see tons of volatilities in. There's going to be tons of volatility today in the market. Strangely, the price of Bitcoin is breaking above $90,000. Depending on who you listen to, depending on who you follow on social media, people have different opinions. Some people think this is the beginning of going back to $126,000, potentially reaching $150,000. My belief is that we are in a long-term downtrend, and this right here is a big trap. I think this right here is a big trap. So that's what I'm going to spend time, really talking about. We'll talk about, what I'm seeing in the charts in the short term, but we'll also remind you guys that the bigger picture has not changed. When you look at the weekly, you look at the monthly, BTC does not look good. But if you guys can give me just a few seconds, let me just grab something to drink. If you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching a live stream, hit that like button. And give me a second, I'll be right back. And then we'll talk about this beautiful cryptocurrency market. All right. Back again, back again. Should be good right now. It should be good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, anyways, yeah. Look, this is a trap right here, man. This is a big trap. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is a trap. The reason this is a trap is because all you gotta do is zoom out. Go to the weekly. Go to the monthly. Nothing has changed, guys. Nothing has changed. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what happens in the short term. It doesn't matter what happens on the 4 hour. It doesn't matter what happens on this 1 hour time frame. It doesn't matter what happens on the 15 minutes. The price of Bitcoin can go from $86,000 to $92,000. It wouldn't change anything. When you zoom out and you look at the weekly, this is not looking good. All right, this is not looking good. The only way for this to change, the price of Bitcoin, we have to get above. Look, we're not talking about right now. We're not talking about the low $90,000 range. Like we gotta have to get a minimum, the bare minimum, guys. We gotta have to get above $98,000. All right, that will be the only reason, or that'll be the only way for me to, look at Bitcoin and, start thinking that we could potentially go back to $126,000. But this is not looking good. And you know what? You gotta have to be a little bit more patient because we are going to have to wait for a weekly close. All right. We are Wednesday today. So we got about 4 more days until the weekly is closed. So between now and Sunday, anything can happen. Price of Bitcoin could potentially pull back to below, $86,000. And not only that, we have a monthly close coming. Chat, let me be honest with you. This is not a good looking monthly candle right here. Absolutely not. All right. This is not looking good right here, man. If you want some positive, if the price of Bitcoin, can close the month of January above $94,600, that will be some positive. But even that, it wouldn't change anything. The only way for Bitcoin's monthly time frame, to change the trajectory of, what comes over the next couple of months, we need to get above $111,000. And I don't see Bitcoin in January closing above $111,000. I do not see that. $111,000 is a major, major monthly resistance. We are talking about getting above all of this right here, guys. This takes you way, way back in 2024. Not even 2025. We're going way, way back in 2024. So this is not a good looking monthly candle. Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. And this is why I believe that this is a big trap. Right? At least one of the biggest traps. So let's talk about the short term. In the short term, guys, look, you can clearly see, even on the daily, this is not a good looking chart right here. Even on the daily, BTC is not looking bearish. My interpretation on this is that, this is a bounce of this breakdown. I mean, honestly, you have a major support that was recently broken. Price of Bitcoin goes to $86,000. Sometimes, when you break a key level, price comes back to retest it. So in this case, what was once a support is now a resistance. So we could potentially get something like this, over the next couple of days, all right? Price comes down, price goes up. Probably we get rejected around here, around $90,000, or probably we get rejected around 91,000. I'm looking at this area right here. This is an area of interest of where we could potentially get rejected at. And then we get a pullback, and then we go down in the $70,000 range. Right? So my interpretation on this is that, this is a bounce of the recent breakdown. Because on the daily, despite price going from $86,000 to $90,000, nothing has changed. And this is why I don't react when price goes up or when price goes down. What I try to focus on is, the structure of the market. And when you look at the structure of this daily, this is not a bullish structure. All right. At least the price of Bitcoin above $98,000, there will be a reason to be bullish on Bitcoin, and there'll be a reason to start looking at going back to 126,000, potentially going to, some of those ridiculous targets that you've seen around $150,000, $200,000, $300,000. At least above $98,000, I am okay in entertaining that kind of, those type of conversations. But right now on the daily, this is not looking good. This is a trap right here, guys. Right? It is a big trap. And simply put, Yo, you don't want to be bullish on BTC with the price still trading below the 200 moving average. Below the 200 moving average. And we're not just talking about any 200 moving average. This is a declining 200 moving average. This is not good right here, guys. Look, I don't think we go anywhere. All right? I do not see the price of Bitcoin go anywhere. In the short term, if you're not careful, you are going to get your head blown out. Like this right here is not bullish at all. The last time we had a consolidation, all right, I became bullish the moment the price of Bitcoin broke above $98,000. You are always looking for the most recent high. Right? Price needs to get above the most recent high. So the last time we were here, all right, a clear breakout, clear bullish divergence. I can tell this was some bullish divergence right here. And you can bring up your RSI and MACD. Despite price putting in lower lows, all right, the MACD was giving us higher highs. Higher lows. RSI was giving us higher lows. And not only that, price managed to break above the 200 moving average. We also managed to get above the last lower high. And, from $98,000, we push our way up to $126,000. So if I'm looking at this, I am also interested in, first breaking above $98,000. I am looking at this level right here. This one right here. If we can break above $98,000, okay. That gives us a higher probability of going all the way back to $126,000 and potentially higher. But, we are not near $98,000. And in fact, we have a retest. I think this is a retest. All right, we have a retest of the breakdown. When you go to the 4-hour time frame, what do we have in terms of momentum? All right, look, the momentum is already starting to fade, based on the MACD momentum indicator. Right, that is not good. When you go to the 1 hour, I am looking for what is going on right here. Okay. All right, are we starting to crack right here? Look, are we starting to get rejected? First time we got rejected right here. And then we had this pullback. This is attempt number 2. Looks like we got rejected. So, lower time frame, if we can lose $88,700, look, you're looking at a Bitcoin that comes back to 87,000. You're looking at a Bitcoin that comes back to $86,000. Like, these are your targets. Right now, short-term wise, yes, we have this beautiful uptrend. Higher lows. Beautiful uptrend. So, if we take out the previous higher low, which is $89,700, that breaks this structure. And that could potentially give us something that looks like this. Right? So, on the 1 hour, if you're bullish, I say fair game. All right. Hopefully your entry was around $87,000. If your entry was around $87,000, how much are you up right now? 2%? Are you kidding me? Are you really going to risk your capital going after a 2% move? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way you want to approach this market. But anyways, this is a trap. All right. This is a trap right here. It is a trap because what you need to do is not spending a lot of time looking at the lower time. I need you to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. I really, really need you to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Let's use, different indicators. Guys, this is not looking good right here. I don't even use this indicator, the Ichimoku cloud, but this is not good right here. All right, we're going from green to red right here. This is not good, guys. The last time we had a buy signal, let me show you the last time we had a buy signal. You got to have to go all the way back to around, $27,000. That is when we got this bullish weekly buy confirmation. And the last time we had a sell signal, you got to have to go back to around, I believe it was right here, around maybe like $38,000 or maybe, no, $47,000 right here, guys. That was around, around 2022. You get the sell signal right here. Again, I don't even use this indicator right here, but visually, like, this thing is awesome. So this is not great right here, guys. All right, you get a sell signal recently. So if this is going to be like, the last time, Chad, you are looking at a very, very long time until this thing turns bullish again. All right. You look at the super trend. I already talked about the super trend. And if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you watch some of my recent updates. But because I love you guys so much, all right, because I love you guys so much, I think that update is right here. All right, I gave you the update. All right, this indicator gave us a sell signal when the price of Bitcoin lost $96,000. The moment we lost $96,000, the super trend gave you a long-term sell signal. Do you want me to show you when we got a buy signal? We got a buy signal around $22,000 back in January of 2023. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. So when you see, when you see price up on the daily, when you see price up, this is the 4 hour. When you see price up on the 4 hour, but your weekly is bearish, you need to focus on the weekly, not the 4 hour. The 4 hour, you're looking at short-term price movement. The weekly gives you a bigger picture. And it doesn't matter what takes place on the lower time. The bigger picture is always going to be the one that you respect. All right? You want to respect the bigger picture. If you are going to put capital in the market, you want to make sure the bigger picture aligns with your short term. So if the long term is bearish but the short term is bullish, don't do anything. You are most likely dealing with a fake pump. I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, and I look, I can't tell you how many people are going to get their heads blown out because, looking at this weekly setup, chat, we lost last week. We ended up with this bearish weekly close right here, which was not good at all. You go to the daily, all right, we lost a major support, which was right here, around $89,000. And you guys may remember, we talked about $89,000. So you looking at this, this is nothing. This is a bounce off the breakdown. Do I think we get above $94,000? I don't think so. All right, I don't think price gets above $94,000. So, don't be trapped out there. All right, don't get caught up in the short term. Always zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Like, where are we going? That should always be the first question that you ask yourself. Where are we going? Now, previously, we always come back to retest the 200 weekly moving average. Right now, you're basically looking at $68,000. But my belief is that in this bear market, price, just like the last bear market, I believe price goes below the 200 weekly. And if we are going to talk about, hey, where are we more likely to bottom? I think you're looking at somewhere around here. I think the bottom is most likely to come in somewhere around here, guys. Like, I'm looking at 48 to, even all the way up to like 56,000. But I'm looking at here. To me, 48 to 53,000, like, this is an area of interest. This is the 3 months. If we go to the monthly, this is what this looks like. If you go to the weekly, this is what this looks like. And also, you go from the top, all the way down into this range. This is about a 60% pullback. Pullback, bear market, right? It's a 60% drop. So if you think about that in regards to where we are right now, you're basically looking at a 40% drop. All right. This is going to take time. This is not next week we're down 40%. No, 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 no. This is going to take some time, guys. Like, look, I don't think we bottom until you got to push all the way into like July, August, September, sometimes December 2026. But right now, the current price action, it is a trap. In my opinion, this is a big trap right here. And a lot of you guys are going to get caught up. So I want to make sure that is not you. I want to make sure you are very smart. I want to make sure you're looking at this market from a structure perspective. I want to make sure you're not looking at this market from a price action perspective where price goes up, you bullish, price goes down, you bearish. No, 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 no. What is the structure of the market? Do we have a market that is trending up? Do we have a market that is trending down? Do we have a market that is trending sideways? I do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you for watching this. Once again, if this is your first time right here, consider subscribing. If you're watching, consider smashing the like button. All right, I want to keep this going. If you guys have any projects, like if you have some altcoins that you would like me to talk about, put them in the chat. I want to talk about altcoins because altcoins are extremely, extremely bearish right now. I'm talking about Marco. Guys, I am not talking about the short term. I am talking about, looking at the Marco. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Looking at the bigger picture, a bunch of these altcoins are extremely, extremely bearish. Like, honestly, if you're not careful, you are going to get hurt. If you are not careful out there, you are going to get hurt. All right, so let's talk about altcoins. I want to go down and I want to talk about Solana on the weekly. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a bullish Solana. This right here is not a bullish Solana. This is the weekly time frame, and this is not what a bullish setup looks like. Right? When you zoom out and you go to the monthly, this is not what a monthly, bullish setup looks like. Absolutely not. Right? What's going on in the short term, this might look cute, but this is not bullish right here. You go down to the 4 hour, okay, Solana has managed to break above, this trend line, but is this what a long-term uptrend really looks like? Like, is this what a beginning of a long-term uptrend really looks like? You may look at this bottom right here around $116. You may be thinking, okay, this is the double bottom. Price of Solana is about to go back into the $300 range. But the truth is, I don't think that's what's going on. Right now, we may push all the way back to 148. Do I think we're going to $148? Like, probably not. But even if we do go up to $148, it wouldn't change the outlook of this weekly. Like, absolutely not, guys. This wouldn't change at all. Now, let's say we were to break above $148. That is something that we could look at and start speculating on, potentially going back to 253. The reason is because, when you think about this move right here, the moment you go up and you break above a major, major key resistance, that increases the probabilities of, a continuation to the upside. But looking at Solana right now, to me, this was the top of a bear market rally, all right? And this is a potential breakdown, playing out just right in front of us. We have already lost the 200 weekly moving average. Right? We have already lost the 200 weekly moving average. Like, I don't think people are just, are excuse me. I don't think people fully get like what this could potentially mean for the price of Solana moving forward. All right. Not only that, we lost, all right, we lost a major support around $126. Like that was a major support that was lost. So I'm looking at Solana right now, and I think it is only a matter of time, before this thing rolls over. You lose $116, and then you're looking at Solana coming all the way down into retesting this, 80, 75, 75 to around $95. Like that is your target. So going from here all the way down here, this is already a 20% crash, and of course all the way down, this is already a 37% crash. Now, I don't even think we're gonna hold $75. I think Solana goes way lower. All right, I believe Solana goes way lower. And then when you look at your MACD, guys, look, the MAC. Holy smoke, what is going on? Chat, give me a second. Oh man. All right. We should be back. That was weird, right? Anyways, look, MACD indicator in terms of momentum, like this is not looking good at all. This is not looking good at all, guys. Like the bears are full in control of Solana right now. Look at this histogram right here, guys. Red. Yo, you want to wait until this thing goes from red to pink, all right? You want to wait until the momentum shifts. And I don't think it's right now. I don't think it's anytime soon. That could take about, maybe another 3 months. And then we might spend another 6 months, going from an extreme bearish momentum into, something that's not as extreme. And then eventually, we go back into a bull market again. So this is going to take some time, man. Like this is going to take a lot of time. You look at the RSI, we've already lost the 50 line, meaning the RSI is right now in a bear market territory. You look at the last bear market, Solana lost its 50 RSI around May of 2022. All right, we lost the bull market territory, RSI around May of 2022. We didn't break back into a bull market territory until sometimes October of 2023, guys. And that is with the price going from $8 into around $40, all right? This is the monthly candle, October of 2023. This is what brought us back into a bull market territory. So I'm looking at Solana. I just think this is going to be a long wait. Like when you think about the last bear market, think about from May 2022 until October 2023. Chat, that's over 12 months, man. That's 16, 18 months of just waiting. And, in between, price will go up because price doesn't just go down in a straight line. All right. Price will go up, but you're just not bullish, long term. When the price is going up, what you are experiencing is what we call a bear market rally. It's a short-term price movement. So when you see me talk about how bearish this market is, but the next day the market is green, doesn't mean that my thesis is wrong. No, because I am looking at weekly. I'm looking at monthly. All right. The weekly time frame, you're looking at several months. The monthly time frames, you're looking at several months and potentially years. So this is not a good looking market. Absolutely not, guys. In the short term, look, take advantage of the short-term pumps. Now, personally, I wouldn't do it. When the higher time frame is bearish, I try my best to always just stay on the sideline. If I want to do something in the market, I want to make sure I'm messing with, a trending market, like a market that is already trending up. And in the equity market, I mean, there is thousands and thousands of stocks that are trending up right now. And I can give you guys multiple examples. All right. AMPX, this is a market that's trending up. Like, this is an amazing opportunity right here. This is a trade that I absolutely love right now. Entry was around, right here, around $10. And I'm targeting $15.82. Look, this to me looks really, really good. When you go to the monthly, which is a bigger time frame, all right, look, the monthly MACD, who's in control of this market? The bulls are. You have green, 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 green. All right, recently we had a pullback. The pullback seems to be over when you go to the weekly time frame. All right, on the weekly, we are going from bearish momentum to potentially a bullish momentum. You can see we've gone from red to pink. So what do you think comes after? Right, you're gonna start to see some of these green histogram. So you look at the price right now. Price is already broken out. Maybe we might get some pullbacks on the daily. Maybe we get some pullbacks on the 4 hour. But these pullbacks are buy opportunities. We actually got one already. So I give an entry around like $10.70 whatever cents, 90 whatever cents. And I'm targeting $15.82. That's a 40% move. So instead of messing with a bunch of these altcoins that are in a clear long-term downtrend, I'd rather come here to something like an AMPX, where the market is trending up, and I read the position myself right here, where pullbacks are amazing opportunities to add on to my position, and just, don't have to worry about what comes next in the cryptocurrency market. There's a lot of opportunities in this market, guys. Let's talk about silver. Look, I wouldn't tell anyone to buy silver at current levels, but when you go to the monthly, silver is in a long-term uptrend. Now, probably the top is coming in very soon. And once again, look, what I'm about to say is not me saying go ahead and buy silver. No, guys. I was bullish on silver when the price was around $30. Somebody asked me to analyze silver back in 2024 when price was around $30, and my outlook on it was very bullish, and I was predicting price going up to around $50. Now, did I knew at the time that we were going to see this crazy parabolic move? Absolutely not, guys. But my expectation on my analysis back then was that, hey, silver is bullish. All right, I see price going to $48, $50 and also continuing higher because the higher time frame is very bullish. Right now, I wouldn't tell anyone to buy silver. But what I'm trying to say is, instead of me going into a bunch of these altcoins, I'd rather go into something like a silver, even at the current price. All right, now, not getting in at the current price, but waiting for some sort of a pullback. I'll give you an example. Recently, we had a big pullback. I believe silver lost around, $700 billion in market cap, which is absolutely nuts, right? $700 billion in market cap in matters of hours. When the price of silver dipped from around $117, down to around $102. But guess what, guys? Because silver is in a crazy long-term uptrend, look at where the price is right now. Price is back at $112. Now, I'm not saying that every pullback is going to be bought quickly, but you are more likely to get a quick bounce. If there's a pullback in the short term, you are more likely to get buyers to step in and push the price back up because the long-term picture is still pretty much very bullish. Now, personally, I wouldn't get in because, look, just looking at this thing right here, I don't know where the top is. Is it $150? Is it $200? I have no idea. But I wouldn't buy anything that looks like this. I want to be a buyer before my indicators are extremely, extremely extended. So if I was interested in silver, even without looking at price, guys, I want to be a buyer in the early 50 RSI range on the monthly. All right, I want to buy silver when the MACD is just giving us a buy signal. All right, now way up like this. You look at monthly RSI, I think we're almost about to hit 100. All right, we are almost about to hit 100. So anyways, I'm saying that to say the cryptocurrency market, a bunch of these altcoins are absolutely dead. I'm not saying they're dead forever, guys. I'm just saying Hey, over the next couple months, look, just be somewhere else. All right, just be somewhere else. And I know what some of you guys may be thinking: dollar cost average. Guys, do not dollar cost average. Do not dollar cost average in any of these altcoins. I'm telling you right now. Even if you miss a 50% jump, forget it. Wait until the market is trending up. All right. Wait until the bottom is finally in, and there is going to be a bottom. I just don't know. Is it 3 months from now? Is it 6 months from now? Is it a year from now? Is it 3 years from now? Who knows? Gotta be patient, man. You got to be patient. Anyways. Wait, hold on. I might. Hold on, chat. You're looking at a different. Hold on. No, why nobody said anything? I might. Wait, hold on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me, chat. I apologize. Am I even live streaming? Oh, this is bad. Is the chart not changing, guys? Oh my god, this is terrible, guys. So this whole time, wow. Yo, you guys gotta say something. Let me fix this. All right, chat, give me a second. I gotta fix this. Jesus. Here we go. Wow. I apologize. Hold on. Am I even live streaming? Like, actually live streaming? Yo, chat, give me a second. Let me fix this. Hopefully. Yeah, this is crazy. Yo, should I restart? No, I don't need to restart, do I? I don't think so. Is this good now? I think so, right? We should be good. Is this good now? All right, this is good now. Yo, chat, I apologize. I thought you guys were looking at the silver chart. Oh my gosh. How bad of me. Well, anyways, doesn't even matter. So let's go back to crypto, because, this is why you guys have tuned in. Yo, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button, guys. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe, and let's keep going. So once again, look, this is a trap right here. When you look at Bitcoin, this is not a BTC that is bullish long term. I don't think you're looking at a market that stays bullish over the next weeks and months. Like, it doesn't look like this. When you go to the monthly, this is a bearish Bitcoin. I don't care how people want to spin this. I don't care which way you look at it. To me, this is a bearish looking weekly. To me, this is a bearish looking monthly. And because the weekly is bearish and the monthly is bearish, I can't take anything that's happening in the short term serious. Absolutely not, guys. I don't care if the last 3 days were green. Right? To me, this is a bounce of this breakdown. So when you look at this breakdown right here, and I know I already talked about Bitcoin, but some of you guys just joined us right now, so I want to make sure, I give you an update on this. To me, this is a breakdown, and to me, this is a retest of this breakdown. And I believe we are going to get rejected. Whether we get rejected somewhere around, like right here around 90,000, whether we go to $91,000, $92,000 and get rejected. Like, I don't know exactly where we get rejected, but I believe we get rejected. And I believe we end up with a move that looks like this. We just got to give it some time, all right? Give it a couple weeks. Give it a couple months. I think, weeks from now, months from now, the price of Bitcoin is going to be in the $60,000, $70,000 range. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say I told you so. Anyways, and I don't want to be the person that say I told you so. Anyways, let's continue the conversation and let's go back to altcoins, all right? XRP. There is nothing bullish about this chart right here. This is a daily. I want to go to the weekly. All right. There's absolutely nothing bullish about XRP on this weekly time frame, especially, all right, after this weekly candle right here. You guys, you got to tune into my live streams. When XRP was around 240 something, 230 something, I said, hey, I thought the top was already in, and this was going to be the beginning of a big, big pullback. And I believe this is the early days of that. This weekly right here, I mean, this is a terrible looking candle right here, guys. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be bullish on XRP with a rejection weekly candle that looks like this. Absolutely no way. Yo, right now, XRP is sitting on top of, I mean, this is the last hope right here. If we are going to be serious. Like this right here, guys, $1.80. All right. $1.62. Like this is the last hope right here. This entire range is the last hope. I'm saying this is the last hope because just give it a couple months. XRP is coming all the way back here. All right. XRP is coming back into this range right here. Right. The only way for me to change my opinion on that, I mean, we got some work to do, to be honest. All right. Price will have to get above 241. And then if we do get a pullback, I need to see a higher weekly low. Right. That will be the only way I change my opinion on XRP. But this is not a good looking chart. You go to the monthly. I mean, honestly, look at this monthly right here, guys. All right, let's talk about some indicators. Look, the monthly MACD histogram. This is the momentum indicator. Look, this is red right here. The last time we were red, you got to go back to around January of 2022. And of course, when we say 2022, you know exactly what we're talking about. That was a brutal bear market. This is not going to end anytime soon. Look, I'm expecting at least a more of this. And I'm expecting plenty more of, some of these, pink looking histogram right here. Right? Like this is not looking good. The monthly RSI currently around 51. Very soon, I think we lose the 50 line. Once we go below the 50 line, that is an indication that we are in a bearish territory. Like that is a bear market right there. So I'm looking at XRP right now. Have some fun in the short term, but whatever you do, make sure you have some stop losses in place. And make sure the capital that you are risking, it's nothing crazy because, over the next months, it gets ugly, like really, really bad. I mean it, guys. It is going to get really, really bad. Chat, I'll be right back. Just give me a second. Yeah, so that's XRP, all right? But it's not just XRP. It's a bunch of these other altcoins. I mean, honestly, let's take a look at something else. Look, XLM. Guys, this is not looking good. Remember, a couple of days from now, we're going to have a monthly close. A couple of days from now, we're going to have a monthly close. So I need you guys to be honest with me. Like, you tell me, guys, is this a good monthly candle that looks like is going to reverse price to the upside? I mean, honestly, guys, you tell me. All right, look, this is a breakdown right here. And then we get a rally. And then you put in a lower high right here around 51 cents. And then you get a pullback. And then price, December's monthly candle. I mean, the damage was just enormous. Look, we closed below 21 cents, which was a disaster. Like this right here, you don't want to play with this. All right, I'll give you the equivalent of this looking at the last bear market. It's right here, guys. This is right here. Price still goes up, and then you get a pullback, and then look what you end up with. Look at this April 2022 monthly candle. Guys, look at the continuation of this. I'm looking at this. This right here is not looking good. When you go to the weekly, I mean, you lose 19 cents. It's back to these levels right here, guys. And again, look, just people just don't want to hear this because everybody wants to be bullish. But the truth is, don't get carried away by the short-term price outlook. Look at the bigger picture. Like XLM, it is not bullish at all. And when we go from here all the way down into this range, like this is a good 50% pullback. Can we go lower? Probably. Do we have to? We don't have to. But, you know, it's right in your face. And speaking of crypto, in my opinion, a bunch of these altcoins are absolutely dead. I want to share something with you guys. What is the name of the token? I think it's AVAX. AVAX had an ETF, and they had zero inflows. I mean, absolutely ridiculous, guys. Let me share this with you. AVAX had an ETF, and the inflows was zero. I'm not talking about $10. I am talking about zero, guys. Like, this is how cooked we are. I'm bringing up the article right here. Hopefully it actually works. Oh my gosh, did I? Okay, there you go. Guys, look. Zero inflows. We are talking about zero. Not one, not two, not three. Zero. All right? Crypto market sentiment is deeply negative in early 2026. Even worse for some select altcoins. All right? AVAX debut met with extreme fear, okay? I don't want to read the whole thing. I want to get to oh, there you go, right here. So I guess I should have read the whole, the first part of the article. This was illustrated by recent launch of the AVAX ETF, which saw zero inflows. I mean, look at the trading volume, guys. 310,000. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And then when you look at the chart of AVAX, let me show you the chart of AVAX. Remember, I have been extremely bearish on AVAX throughout the last couple of months. I think I have AVAX right here. Do I? No. AVAX. Guys, I mean, look at the chart of AVAX. When we talk about disaster, I mean, this is what a disaster looks like. I'm looking at this monthly right here, this monthly setup. Look, AVAX lost a major support, $14. Your only target right now, honestly, is $8.75. And I'm afraid to say, we could potentially go lower. AVAX could potentially go lower. This is performing way worse than the last bear market. AVAX is going back to $8. AVAX is going back to $8. The last time we traded at these levels, you got to go way back in 2022. So if you don't believe that this is a bear market, and if you don't think this is way worse than a bear market, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. All right, pull up any of these charts. They don't look good. All right, they do not look good at all. But there's opportunities in this market. All right, Iran is doing really well. Wolf is doing really well. We became bullish on Wolf around $5, I believe. We traded this entire move. I mean, not from $1, right here. I became bullish on Wolf right here, guys, around $5, and I was predicting exactly these targets. And this is something that is currently up almost 300% right now. All right, going from here, up 200% was up to something. last couple of weeks. But when it comes to altcoins, I mean, altcoins are 100% cooked. Sui. I want you guys to take a look at Sui. What does this look like? Does this look like a Sui that is bottoming and wants to start a new bull market, or does this look like a lower high and we could potentially dump into the 90 cents range and potentially, I know you guys don't want to hear this, potentially 40 cents. All right. What I'm doing right now is not wasting my time looking at the short term. No, what I'm doing right now is zooming out and seeing the bigger picture of this market. You want to see how bad this thing looks, guys? I want you to take a look at the monthly candle. Yo, look at Sui's monthly. Look at January. Look at January candle, guys. I mean, this is terrible. This is bad. Like, really, really bad. There's no way people think altcoins are turning bullish. There's no way people are starting to believe that this is a good time to be a buyer. I mean, a good time to be a buyer right now with charts looking like this on weekly and monthly, it is laughable if you ask me. Absolutely laughable. Let's get rid of this. So the FOMC meeting, I believe, is about to kick off in the next few minutes, I believe, right? Just give me a second, guys. We are cooked. This market is 100% cooked, if you ask me, at least. Just give me a second, guys. Oh man, it's getting hot here. I had to open the door. So. Hood stock bottom prediction. I mean, look, I can't predict a bottom because that's impossible. We need to wait until the bottom is actually in. But Hood, where is Hood? Hood is, I like Hood. Where is it? Hood, somewhere on here. There we go, right here. $104. Look, the monthly to me looks really good. Just looking at the momentum indicator. Yes, we are kind of running out of, or the momentum has been weaker compared to, the past several months, at least 2025. You see how bullish, this was. But the pullback was always needed because when you look at this monthly run, I mean, look, we go from $30 straight up to $154. So this is a healthy pullback. If you go to the weekly, I don't have anything to worry about as long as the price remains above $93. So I'm not here to be bearish on Robinhood because so far the trend is up. The weekly trend is up. The monthly trend is up. Until $93 is lost, I don't have a reason to be bearish. In fact, if we can break above this yellow line, all right, this resistance right here, then I am going to be in a position where I start predicting, going back to retesting $115, but only if we break out of this downtrend. All right. Right now, what you are experiencing is a daily downtrend. So when you go to the daily, we have lower lows and lower highs. Now, interestingly, the daily is right now actually retesting the 200 moving average. Look, this is a very good place if there's going to be a bounce. Like, it's got to be somewhere around here. Not only are we sitting on top of the 200 daily, we are also just right around, this $102,000. Oh my God, not $102,000. You see, I'm thinking about Bitcoin. We are sitting above this $102 support. So this is a good place for, Robinhood to get a bounce. Now, if we go down to the lower time, let's kind of talk about what we would like to see. Right now on the 4 hour, the last lower high is $110. So if Robinhood can do something like this, if price can get above 110 and then give us a pullback and then put in a higher low, to me that would indicate the more likely the lows are in, and going back to $150 is a real possibility. So keep your eyes on the short term, right? Keep your eyes on either the 4 hour or the 1 hour time frame. If you can stay there, especially once we reclaim the 200 EMA on the 1 hour, like that will be something. So Robinhood looks really good to me, despite this pullback rate. This is a healthy pullback. Remember, you gotta go back to the monthly. When you go to the monthly, it's a straight line from $30 to 150, 150 whatever, 153. Like, this is a straight line right here, guys. And we know this is not always, sustainable. There's going to be pullbacks. So to me, this is a healthy pullback on the monthly. We may even come back to around $84. I'm looking at potentially retesting the previous all-time highs. Like, that's a possibility. But on the weekly, I don't want price below $93. Once you go below $93, then at least that forces me to start looking at 84, and not just only 84. It forces me to start looking at 66, but not only 66. I also start looking at 59. All right, like, these are the targets that I start looking at if we lose $53. If you lose $93. The dollar's going down. That would be good for crypto. Yeah, look, probably. But I don't want to make that mistake again, because I used to look at the market that way. Right now, at least for me personally, guys, the way I look at this market, excluding Bitcoin, I am looking at each individual altcoin. All right. I'm now looking at the entire basket. I'm now looking at, these 30 different million altcoins and, pretending they all just one. I'm looking at Solana individually. I'm looking at XRP individually. I'm looking at Zcash. I'm looking at each one of these altcoins individually. I think that's to me, at least right now, I believe that is the best approach. Yeah, because sometimes, you look at recent performance. Zcash was on fire while the rest of the market wasn't doing anything. So you could have traded Zcash and stayed away from everything else. All right. After Zcash, we had XMR. XMR was on fire while Zcash was pulling back. In 2023, Solana was on fire while Ethereum was having a hard time. And then Ethereum finally took over while Solana was struggling. So I look at altcoins right now, and I look at them individually. In terms of the US dollar index, let's talk about the US dollar, guys. The US dollar actually has been in a bear market. The US dollar has been in the bear market since, you got to go back to October of 2022. So if the US dollar has been in a bear market since October of 2022, when you think about October 2022, that was the beginning of, the Bitcoin bull market. So, look, I'm actually in the camp of the US dollar index could potentially bottom and start a new bull market, while the cryptocurrency market, or Bitcoin more specifically, goes into a long-term bear market. If you look at this monthly right here, guys, like, I am looking at this right here. This does not look good. This is a weekly. This does not look good. But who's to say that probably, all right, sometimes in the near future, all right, the bottom doesn't come in. I mean, who knows? Maybe somewhere around $92, or maybe somewhere around, even looking at this 200 monthly, maybe somewhere around here. But of course, first we got to get above $100. If we can get above $100, to me, that would indicate that the bottom is finally in, and that could be the beginning of, a brand new US dollar bull market. Yo, to say that the US dollar is going into a bear market would be a mistake right now, because the US dollar has been in a bear market since, September, October of 2022. So this is not a new bear market. We have been in a bear market. MSTR looking bearish. Absolutely yes. Yeah, weekly, monthly MSTR is extremely bearish. And my prediction is that, you're looking at MSTR coming all the way down into, around $100 between now and sometimes late this year. Now, in the short term, I'm actually kind of bullish on MSTR, and I know this is not the most popular thing to say, but I'm basically expecting, and maybe we don't get what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a weekly bounce. So if you look at the performance of MSTR, from right here, around July of 2025, it's been a straight line down, from $460 down to $148. So surely we got to get some sort of a weekly bounce, probably up to around, $200 to $230. My expectation is that, we go back and retest the 21 weekly moving average. I'm looking at the 21 weekly. It is currently around $217. So I think that is a legit target. But remember, this is a moving average. So probably, we only go up to around $200. Basically, I'm looking at, something that looks like this. If you think about the last bear market, we go from $30 back to retest the 21 weekly around $50. So I'm kind of looking at something very similar to that. The only difference is that, right now, maybe instead of, price going back up, we kind of just consolidating in this $200, $150 range. We kind of just going through in consolidation. But if you go down to like the 4 hour, if you go to the daily, we have what I call a bullish divergence. So as the price continues with lower highs and lower lows, you can clearly see the MACD and the RSI has been, giving us these bullish divergences. So this is a reason for me to at least be bullish in the short term. I think we could potentially get a drop, to somewhere around $145, give us one more pullback, and then price may push all the way up to, $183, potentially $200. I'm kind of looking at that scenario. It doesn't have to play out. But long term, when you zoom out, I mean, look, I knew this thing was cooked way, way back when price was around like $360. Like, I was one of the first people to say, guys, I think MicroStrategy has absolutely topped. And this is the beginning of a long-term bear market. Like, I put that out there. If you guys want to give me a follow on X, I literally put that out there sometimes last year. So if you come right here, MSTR. There you go. I posted that around August 15 of 2025. Unpopular opinion, but MSTR has probably topped. In the last bull run, it topped, February 2021, while Bitcoin went on to put in a new all-time high late 2021. So at the time, we were around 366, and you guys can clearly see I was absolutely right. And in terms of my target, look, I'm looking at $100. Yo, I wish I shorted back around 366. So August 2025, that was around, literally, guys, that was around where? August 2025. What is August? Okay, this is August right here. So that was literally the beginning of this entire drop. So I'm extremely bearish on MSTR. But in the short term, I'm bullish. In the short term, I have an expectation that, we come back to retest the 21 weekly moving average. And maybe we go a little higher. Maybe we retest the 50 weekly moving average. Another reason I'm extremely bearish is when you look at, this death cross right here occurred back in November 2025. You look at the gap between the two EMAs. This right here, guys, this is what momentum looks like. All right. When the momentum is very strong, this is exactly what you get with EMAs. All right. The EMAs are going to get away from each other. So that one doesn't look good. Is there any stock you would trade? I mean, look, I'm trading a bunch of stuff right now. If you want to join my Discord, I have a bunch of trades. I'll share one of one of our trades with you. This is one that was the most recent one. This is one of our most recent trade right here. All right, so we got in around $3 and like $3.90, I believe. Price went all the way up to around $5.60. It hit all my targets, every single target I was looking for, and I actually believe it's going higher. So we got in around here, $3.90, push all the way up there. So the trade is right here. Let me share the trade with you. So if you want to join my Discord, guys, let me put the link there. I do have a private Discord, about $200 for 6 months, $350 for an entire year. So if you want to join my Discord, if you guys are interested, right now I gotta be honest with you, I'm posting only stocks. I'm not doing any. I think I did maybe like 1 or 2 crypto trades, but honestly, it's just a waste of my time right now. Right now, I'm only doing stock trades because that is where the money is being made. The stock market is bullish. The cryptocurrency market is extremely bearish. So I don't want to bother, analyzing and trying to trade crypto. So I just put a link of my Discord in the chat. I actually just pinned it. If you want to join, $200 for 6 months, $350 for 12 months. Hit the link, send me a DM. I'll respond to you. If somebody sends you a DM first, it is absolutely not me. You reach out to me, I respond to you. So anyways, this is one of our recent trade. That doesn't mean every trade is going to end up in profits, but this one is one of my recent ones. So what is it? Yep, right here. So let me share this with you. So can clearly see this is a trade that was posted, broken out first target 480 to 520 range. After that, of course, I think price goes higher. I do think price goes higher. So at the time, price was around $3.92. All right, and that was right here, 3.92 cents. We pushed all the way up to every one of my targets, didn't we? So the first target was 480. All right, so 480, if you think about that one, 480, that's a 20% profits. The second one was 520. All right, 520. 520, that's a 30% profit. So that was one of my recent trade. There should be another one. Just trying to think, at least the ones from the last couple of days. Look, you see a bunch of my stocks. Look, a bunch of them are actually running. This is a trade we took earlier. Was it last year? I think, yeah, late last year. This is a trade that we took. Plug, I think we jumped in around here. It ended up running all the way up to, for something, 130% profits. Should be another one. We did Alibaba from 126, rode it all the way up. This is another one. This one was a bigger, actually. So this one, ASTS. This one was posted way back. So this was posted around $32. You can clearly see from 32 all the way up. So that was like around here. That was back here. There we go, right here. Ran all the way up. Currently up about 320%. So this was posted early 2025. And then I gave another trade when he had a pullback right here, $72, riding it all the way up to 102. 72 all the way up to 102. 102 right here. 42% profits. And then I give an update, and my target is 125. I give an update. Where's my? There we go, right here. I give an update, 125. So 125 is we're literally $5 away from 125. So yeah, look, very good trades from the last couple or ever. Maybe I'll share with you guys one more. This is a trade that we took from $5. Right here. This was A925. Wolf was around $5.03. You see my targets, guys. First target, 936. That was an 80% profit. Second target, 1596. 211% profits. And of course, you look at the price. Hit every single one of my targets. So it is what it is. Another one was this one, CLSK. This is the last one that I'm going to share with you now. I think we jumped in around here, roll it all the way up there, somewhere around there. And I'm expecting price to go a little higher. I think I gave an update on that one. There we go, right here. You see my updates. We got in right here. Targeting down. There we go, right here. 992. Hit every single one of my targets. Every single one of my targets. Every single one of my targets. The first one was 80%, 107. Third one was 2490. Every single one of my targets. Anyways, if you want to join my Discord, hit the link. $200 for 6 months, $350 for 12 months. I don't think it's that bad. So yeah, look, man, cryptocurrency market absolutely cooked. The stock market, I'm telling you, there's opportunities in this market, guys. There is amazing opportunities in this market. Look, ASTS should be 125 soon. I mean, this thing is an absolute beast. Other trades, there's a bunch of trades. This one right here, we got in around, I think, 390 something. It's going to pop. Just give it some time. And then, of course, there's more and more and more and more. Anyways, what else do we have? Because I got to get out of here, guys. I got to go pick up the kids from school. So, yeah, put the link in the chat. Feel free to join my Discord. You hit the link, send me a DM. You DM me, I respond to you. That way you know it's legit. I don't reach out to you first. Like I don't reach out to people. They reach out to me, I respond. So look, in regards to crypto, guys, there's nothing there. Let me try. Look, I tried to do a bunch of trades like recently, and it's just not working out because that is so bad. So I'm looking at XMR though. I do think there's an opportunity, and it could be this right here now. Super, super risky, of course. So I'm looking at XMR And I'm believing if we can break above this 480, I think we're going higher. All right. Or if this thing can bounce a little bit, let's say it bounces from here to like 475. I like an entry there with a stop loss to like 470, or we can do a stop loss below 453. It's a 4% loss if you're wrong. But the profit, you could be looking at maybe like a 30 to a 50% move. So imagine here, this is a 30% profits back to 640, and you're looking at 60% back to 7. The reason I like XMR is because on the monthly, it's already in an uptrend. All right, that is the only reason I'm willing to trade something like XMR. Everything else, you want to try to be careful. When you go to the weekly, XMR is at a place where we probably have already bottomed. All right, normally pullbacks like this, look, pullbacks like this in the long-term uptrend, the bottom comes in around here. So if we go to the weekly, actually, the weekly is very close to its 21 weekly moving average. We don't want the weekly to go below 410 because once you go below 410, like that violates this entire uptrend. When you go to the daily, unless we're about to go a little lower, when you go to the daily, normally the bottom comes in around here, guys, just right below the 50 EMA. Look, the same bottom right here. Now, if you want to play safe, wait until price gets above $500. Your entry will be a little different, so your profits just a little less. But if you want to be a little bit more risky, I think jumping in right, even if your stop loss is right, if you want to be safer with your stop loss, just put it right below 445. So let's see what that looks like. Entry, this is not bad actually. This is only a 5% loss. So trades like this, to me, they make a lot of sense. You know, I'm risking 5%. If I'm wrong, I make 30% if I'm right. I make 60% if I'm right. My risk is only 5%. I absolutely love it. All right? I mean, I absolutely love it. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys, man. Hopefully this was helpful. And I will see you next time. All right, guys. Have fun.